Hello and welcome to Coffee with Carey. Thank you for stopping by, being here. I'm going to encourage you right from the start that if you have any new dating terms that you've heard lately, to share them with us in the comment. I'm always trying to keep up on this stuff. Breadcrumbing. I was late to the game on that one. I don't want that to happen again. Lots of new dating terms that have been floating around in the dating world lately and wasn't sure if you'd heard them. You may read an article that references one of these terms or hear a conversation and not know what the heck people are talking about. So today I'm going to share a bunch of the new ones with you so that you're in the know and you can be the person who's sharing them with other people who may not have picked up on these. Isn't it funny when you hear something, one of these for sure, as you learn a new phrase, one of them you will not know. I can promise you that. I can probably promise you that. I'm not sure. But if there's one that you didn't know, guaranteed that within the next month or so, you'll hear it somewhere. Isn't it funny how that works? I always think that's amusing when I learn a new word, how it's suddenly popping up everywhere. Like, was everybody using this word before and I just didn't know it? Yeah, they probably were. That's what's on the agenda. There's an episode I made recently on the new trends in dating for 2023. If you didn't see it, I'll link to it here. But one of the trends was that people are looking to align their values as far as ecological, their values on climate, on the environment. And there is a term around this as well, and it's called eco-dumping. And eco-dumping is when somebody has determined that your values are not aligned on environmental issues. This is big tongue twister for me. They will find that a deal breaker and break up with you, hence the dumping. Ecological, dumping, bye-bye. And it's a deal breaker for a lot of people. So eco-dumping is when your values don't align and they're going to move on to the next person, because having the same values as their partner is a priority for a lot of people now. I mean, I don't think I could date somebody who was driving a gas guzzler and, single-use plastics all over the place and not being aware of a lot of the things that have become important to me over the years, right? I want to make sure that this planet is here for my grandchildren's children. And I've got to make some changes, which I'm trying to do, have done, and continuing to do, learning we can all do better. And if you're not aligned with somebody else's values, they may not want to date you. So you have choices. Either you change the way you look at those things or look a little deeper into it to find out what that's all about, what changes you could make, what is going on with the planet. Are we really overfishing our oceans? Is eating beef detrimental to our planet? Is it destroying our soil? Super interesting. Love the documentaries on this kind of stuff. So check those out. Maybe I'll put a couple of them down in the comments or the description area so that you can check it out if that's at all intriguing to you. Number 2, the phrase is heat doming. Yes, heat like warm, doming like I don't know. But it has to do with dating somebody because of the things they have at their place. For instance, in the summer, I don't know why it's heat, because I would think it would be AC doming. In the summer, dating somebody because they have an air conditioner at their house. Dating somebody because they have a pool in the summer, awesome to cool off. Dating somebody because they have a bigger TV or they have cooler stuff at their place is called heat doming. And that is a phrase that people are using, and now you can use it too if you find need to. Number 3, infladating. Inflation and dating put together. So infladating is the way I'm reading it. I haven't heard anybody say it. I've only read about it. And it's basically what we have talked about in that episode about trends for 2023. I said people were being more budget conscious. No extravagant dates. They're looking for something more casual, less expensive, not a huge financial commitment as they get to know somebody in the early stages of dating. And that's what this is about, being more frugal, being very budget conscious in this market, in this economy when dating, and especially in the early stages of dating. Although next stage of dating after the early stage is a little bit of the nesting thing. So we're saving money there as well. But being aware of finances in dating has its own term. And number 4 is right up my alley because it's something I talk about all the time and encourage people to do. And it's called James Webbing. And it has to do with the new space telescope that I think the Navy has it, right? And it has to do with seeing someone differently when you see them up close and personal because you've spent more time with them. It can change your opinion once you get a better view. So James Webbing may be that you thought someone wasn't right for you after your first date, but you decided to go on a second date to learn more. Yes, do that. That is going to take you so much further in connecting with somebody and finding your partner. And lo and behold, date number 2 or 3, you learn so much more about this person. You realize how fantastic they are because you're looking at them through a different lens and you're seeing them up close in a whole different way. And they're fantastic. They're great. You want to keep seeing them because you really like them. You would not have known this had you just gone on a casual one date. But if you're James Webbing, you'll know. Number 5, main character energy. We've heard of BDE. If you haven't heard that one, you can look it up. But main character energy is prioritizing self. The main character is you in your life story. And you are not compromising. And the main character in your story, like any story, has a hero. That hero is you, and decisions are made based on what's good for you. So it's good in a way. You're not getting walked on or trampled on. You're not going to see someone who isn't kind to you, anybody who's abusive or narcissistic. You'll be able to walk away because you've got main character energy. You're in it to win it for you, not to placate other people or to be there for someone who's not appreciating what you're offering. And the main benefit of this is that nobody's wasting anybody's time. People are taking time for themselves to regroup, to take a break from dating. That's one thing. But also, you're only going to continue getting to know somebody if you're feeling something. Way less wasting of time. This is a much more concise way of getting to know people because you're not doing it for anybody else. You're doing it for you. I'm not talking about being selfish or being self-centered, but being aware and definitely checking in with yourself to see if this feels good to you. That's a positive, I believe. Number 6, you know the website OnlyFans? Well, the phrase here is only plans. And that is because you make plans with somebody, nothing happens. You make plans, you keep making plans, and a date never happens. So frustrating, right? If you've been single in the last 5 years, I know you've experienced this. It's so easy to not go on a date that you've planned. And why? Because the dating apps have done that. We've discussed this numerous times. People think to themselves, I can just go back on the apps and find somebody else. I don't feel like going out. Have something else I'd rather do. I just don't feel like getting dressed. I don't want to leave the house. It's too cold. I have something else I could do instead. I'm just going to blow it off. Or, so it's not necessarily somebody ghosting you or not showing up. It's just literally the plans never happen for whatever reason. You know, after I send a couple out on a date, I send out a feedback form. And in the feedback form, they both tell me whether or not they'd like to see one another again. And if both people say, yes, I'd like to see this person again, I get super excited and keep my 80% success rate going. And in the little summary that I write to them, I remind them on these yes matches to make sure that they make plans and get some momentum going. I write it right in there. I'm so glad that this has worked out. I really encourage you to make plans and get-togethers very soon, to not let it just dwindle and then people forget what a nice connection they had on their first date if they never go on a second date. Well, sometimes that's the case. It's only plans for a second date. Often it's only plans for a first date, and that gets you not even off the ground. So don't do that. Don't date somebody who keeps jerking you around like that. Only plans is not going to end up in a relationship if it continues that way. So either shake it up, change it, make it happen, or move on. And then our final new phrase here in dating is eco-fishing, and it's like catfishing. And what it is, I talked earlier about how people are looking for someone like-minded on environmental issues and on being eco-friendly, being a conscientious inhabitant of this planet. But there are people out there who are eco-fishing, and that means they will pretend to be that eco warrior, just to get you to go out with them. And then slowly you will find out that they're throwing all their tin cans in the garbage, buying water bottles, buying single-use plastic, getting straws with their sodas, throwing it out the window. I don't know what crazy stuff they're doing, but they weren't being honest with you. And that's called eco-fishing. Like catfishing, it's somebody pretending to be something or someone they're not, and they're using dishonesty to get to know somebody better, hoping it won't matter perhaps in the end, when in fact for many people it is one of their main values now, and it is going to matter. So it's trickery, and you want to avoid that if you can. So be on the lookout for anybody who is eco-fishing you. And now you've learned a bunch of new words that I'm guessing that you didn't know all of them before. Let me know down in the comments if any of them were familiar to you. Of the 7, let me know how many are new to you. I'd be interested in hearing that. Thanks for stopping by today. If you enjoyed it, listen to my little mama right there. She's saying to give the episode a thumbs up. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel, and if you hit the ring bell, then you're notified every time a new episode goes live. Look forward to having you back, and until then, have a good one.